Your fear of failure is causing you to be a failure. Let me explain. Most of you are so worried about failing that you never try anything great because you're so worried that there's going to be some bad outcome. You're so worried about what can go wrong and you never even stop to consider what could go right. This is literally ruining your life because you're not treating yourself like somebody who deserves success. You're treating yourself like an average person. If you truly believed that you were worthy of success, you would be acting in the best possible way. This video will teach you how to trick your mind to get over your fear of failure and achieve all of your dreams. First, let's talk about failure and what it is and what failure is not. When doing anything in life, there's always a possibility that something goes wrong. For example, if I go drive and pick up a coffee, I could get in a fender bender and then, have to pay $10,000 to fix up my bumper. Me getting into a fender bender is completely out of my control, and it would make no sense for me to be afraid to drive to the coffee store just because there's a possibility of something bad happening. It's the same thing when you're going up to a girl that you want to talk to, right? You're kind of nervous that she's going to say no, but in reality, she could say yes. You could find the love of your life. Same exact thing when you're taking a trade or making an investment. The trade could go wrong and you could lose money. Or the trade could 100x and you could literally turn $100 into $10,000. So there's always the possibility of failure, right? But there's also always the possibility of success because risk and reward are opposite sides of the same coin. Life is a game of probabilities. There's always two main probabilities. There's usually more, but there's two main ones. The first probability is that the thing goes right and what you want to happen happens. The second probability is the thing goes wrong and what you want to happen does not happen. 99% of the population lives their life only considering the risk aspect of life. They're only worried about what could go wrong, how they could mess it up, what somebody could say to them. They're only worried about the negatives, and this causes them to never try anything because they're so scared, right? Fear is literally controlling their mind. Here's something that you all need to understand about fear. Fear was meant to keep us alive. When humans first started out, we had fear because we needed to understand that this bear in front of us could kill us, so we needed to run away. So for humans, early on, fear was always helpful because the only purpose of fear was to keep us alive. And it worked, right? We're here, we all evolved, we're all living in life now where we're relatively safe. But humans are more fearful now than ever before. And now is actually the safest time to be alive. You might not think it is because of all this stuff on the news, but I promise you, now is the safest time to be alive. We are much safer now in our air-conditioned homes with our amazing healthcare than we were back in, 1500 BC when we had to deal with cavemen and we had to deal with all these bears and all these actual threats on our life every single day. The reason we are so much more fearful now than we were, 2,000, 3,000 years ago is because we have moved so far away from what we actually should be afraid of because now we have all this medicine in our bodies and we have all these, narratives going on that convince us that we need to be afraid of everything. Look what happened from 2019 to 2021. They spread fear, right? And that fear controlled people and made people stay inside of their houses. Also, the entire school system is built on fear, right? You're afraid that you're going to get caught for cheating. You're afraid that if you leave the school system, you're not going to have a job. Fear is used to control you, and for 99% of people, this works to a T. Most people are afraid of leaving their job, they're afraid of starting a business, they're afraid of going up and talking to that person because they live their entire life only considering the risk of their actions. I'm going to tell you a quick story, and this story will help you understand why risk and reward is such an important concept. When I first started trading, I made a little bit of money, right? I was making, a few $100s, a few $1,000s some days, and then I lost a lot of money. The reason I lost the money is because I was risking way too much money. I was risking like half of my account per trade, and I lost a few trades and my account got wiped. Also, the trades just went wrong. The trades just did not go my way, so I lost money. But the trades easily could have gone my way and I would have made money. But I was not set up in a responsible position. I was over leveraged, so I was actually over risking. This was all while I was still working a job. So this was money that I valued a lot because I was literally just taking my paychecks and putting most of the money into a trading account. When I lost this money, I literally thought of the physical hours that I had to work to get this money back. While I was at my job, I had a huge realization. I said, okay, trading is something that can make me a lot of money, but it can also lose me a lot of money. So I have to set up my trading account and set up my life in a way where I can take calculated risks. I can take risks that if they pay off, I'll make a lot of money, and if they don't pay off, I'll still be okay. I won't lose all my money. So what I started to do is I would take my paychecks and I would put literally most of my paycheck into my trading account, but I would be much more responsible with how much of my trading account I was risking per trade. Now, mind you, I was probably still over risking a little bit now that I know exactly how much is a responsible amount to risk, but I was young and I was at my job, so if I lost all the money in my trading account, the worst thing that would have happened is I would have just had to work some more hours at my job. This was always a helpful trick for me, is I would play out the worst case scenario on anything, right? Like if I'm going up to a girl, the worst possible thing that can happen is she can say no. That's it, right? Like the worst thing that can happen if you take a trade is the trade will lose. If you set your account up in a way that you're taking a calculated risk. If you're not taking a calculated risk, the worst thing that can happen is you wipe out your entire account. This is why I always talk about risk management. Risk management means to only risk a small percentage of your trading account. So if the trade loses, you're still good to go. So back to my story, right? So I was at my job, and at this time I was buying Litecoin and Ethereum. So I was taking my paycheck, putting it in my trading account, and then just buying up Litecoin and Ethereum on spot on Coinbase. And then something amazing happened. Litecoin started going up, and not just going up a few dollars, Litecoin started going up a ton. It went from $25 to $40, $50, $60. Litecoin ended up going to $400, and I was still holding a ton of it. I sold right around this $400 mark, and I made a lot of money, enough money to quit my job and to start funding my own personal trading accounts. Now you all can see why I value risk and reward so much, because at first, I had a ton of risk and I lost my money, so I learned the possibility of risk. And then after, I made a lot of money, so I learned the possibility of reward. In this example, I'm talking about a specific trade, but I'm trying to make a larger analogy here for you all to understand. Life has two possibilities. Things can work out in your favor and things cannot work out in your favor. If you want things to work out in your favor, you will have to take some sort of risk. You have to, right? There's no option. You're going to either have to risk your time, your money, maybe your reputation, maybe even your safety or your health at times. The only way to guarantee that you're never going to be successful is by never taking any risk. Because if you don't take risk, the possibility of reward doesn't even exist. Nobody is coming to save you. Your girlfriend's not coming to save you. Your mom's not coming to save you. Your teachers aren't coming to save you. You are on your own. People can help you, but ultimately, your drive and how committed you are to your goals will be what determines your success. One thing I've always done, and I still do, is I spend a ton of money on education, right? Books, courses, communities, mentors, calls, all of it, because I understand being successful is not a question of how hard you work, it's a question of what you know and how well you execute on what you know. And if you don't know the right things, you can work as hard as you want, but you're not gonna make shit. That's the truth of it, guys. There's a construction worker working on this building right here, and he's gonna be working for 12 hours in the hot sun. I'm gonna go work in my air-conditioned office. I'm gonna make more money than him, right? That's not me being a dickhead, it's just the truth. He's probably working physically harder than me, but what I know and the systems I have in place allow me to make a lot more money than him. There's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. In fact, society actually needs people to work 9 to 5 to make the economy function. But you do not have to be one of those people if you don't want to. If you want to work a 9 to 5 your entire life, please go ahead, right? I'm not discouraging that. I'm just saying, if you're watching this video, you probably don't want to work a 9 to 5 your entire life, which is why I'm giving you this advice. One of the reasons that we feel fear as humans is because we're conscious of our own death. Most animals are not aware that they're going to die, so they just live life in the moment, not afraid of anything. Humans, we know we're going to die, right? So we have all these fears of, oh, hopefully we don't get, banished from the tribe, or hopefully people don't think that of us or think this of us. But once you come to terms with the fact that you are going to die and you're not scared of it, but you're aware of it, it can actually motivate you, because knowing that your life is going to end should motivate the fuck out of you to get up, take some risk, and make sure that you live a life worth living. I'm not telling you to be fearless. In fact, you need to be afraid, but you need to move your fear from the fear of failure to the fear of never being great enough and the fear of living a life so average that you never even got close to your potential. Fear will always be there. Everybody has fear. The difference between successful people and people who aren't successful is successful people know where to place their fear. They're afraid of the right things. They're afraid of, not being good enough. They're afraid of not accomplishing their goals. They're not afraid of failing. Successful people have failed more than losers have even tried. Everybody has fear. I have fear. Elon Musk has fear. All the successful people you know have fear. The only difference between the successful people and the people who aren't successful are that the successful people know where to place their fear. They place their fear in not reaching their full potential, while you're placing your fear in failure and what other people are going to think about you. Caring what other people think about you has to be the stupidest thing ever. People don't give a fuck about you. Let me say this very, very clearly. You think that everybody cares about you. They don't. Right? Most people do not care about you. That's the truth of it. They might make some comments or they might look at you this way, but people are worried about their own lives. They do not have the time in the day to think, oh, what is Billy or what is Sally doing with their life? Most people think that they are what other people think of them. Let me say that again. Most people think that they are what other people think of them. So they think that if other people think that they're a failure or if they're crazy, that's what they actually are. But in reality, other people's thoughts are just other people's thoughts. It's a completely separate thing from what you are and what you're actually doing. Think back to the first day of school. You come in, you got your fresh backpack on, you got your fresh clothes on, and you're so worried about what other people are going to think about you. You're worried if you're going to make friends. Every other kid in that school has the exact same mindset that you do. So everybody is thinking about what other people are going to think of them, but in reality, nobody's thinking about anybody. Everybody's just thinking about themselves. This should help you understand how fear of what other people think of you and fear of failure are literally trapping you in a box that's preventing you from reaching your goals. And once you get out of this box, you will reach your goals so much quicker and so much easier. The only thing you should be afraid of is never reaching your goals. As FDR says, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. What he meant is that being fearful is literally preventing you from doing things, and it's ruining your life so much. So instead of being afraid of all these other things, what people think about you, the only thing you should be afraid of and actually worried about is fear preventing you from living your best life, which for most of you, it is. So take your fear and place it somewhere that's helpful for you, not somewhere that's hurting you. I didn't have this video planned, I didn't have this scheduled, written out, or anything. I was just thinking last night, why are some people successful and why are some people not successful? And I came to this realization that the people who have this fear of failure and this fear of what other people think of them will never be successful. And the people that don't have this fear, almost all of them are successful. So if you can eliminate this fear, you will likely be successful. Oh, it felt so good to get that off my chest because I'm always thinking about people that are so afraid, and so many of you are so fucking scared of all the stuff that doesn't even exist that you never do anything. If you want to join my community, you can join using the link in the description of this video. Please like and subscribe if you found this helpful. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon.